Hello and welcome, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome to another live on Marlene's How To's. As you know, we're in the season right now for St. Patrick's Day. It depends on when you're watching this live video, but as Jamaicans, we enjoy corned beef and cabbage at any time of the year. I remember when we had Hurricane Gilbert, we ate a lot of corned beef and people got tired of it, but that was many, many years ago. So in today's live, I'm going to actually show you how we do it, the corned beef and cabbage in our way. I have my little thing set out here already. I have my cabbage right there. And I also have my corned beef right there. And all the other stuff that we're going to be using for that. So we're just going to give the others a little bit of time to come on here. In the meantime, I'm just going to take a look at the chat and see who we have so far. So we have Two Georgia Peachy. She says, hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. She says, I can hear you. Awesome. We always want to hear that. That's always a plus. And then we have Bruce Lee on here as well. He says, good evening. Okay, so good evening, Bruce. Welcome, welcome. In the meantime, guys, be sure to give me that thumbs up, when you come on, so that way it helps YouTube to send it out so that, other people can see. Because a lot of people, they watch the live videos after the fact because they may be busy doing stuff and all of that. So I'm here in my little kitchen and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get that done for you. But like I said, I'm just trying to allow a few more people to come on. This is kind of like a St. Patrick's Day edition, but it is Jamaican style corned beef and cabbage, but it can be used, at any time of the year. And just for a little background in the meantime, my channel is actually, it's a gardening channel. It's mostly gardening that I do for my regular videos. And sometimes for the short videos to the vertical ones that are like just a few seconds long. And for my lives, I like to do, freestyle, so we can talk about various different things. It might be something that's seasonal, topical. You may see me cooking. You may see me doing a shopping haul. You may see me, decorating stuff. Sometimes we'll just talk about topical, things that are, we feel relevant to this season that we're in. Because the last one that I did, it was about because Women's Day was coming up. I did the one about women's health, and we got some very, very good responses from that. So I was quite happy about that. And the one before that, we talked about, having a happy relationship, happy marriage. My husband joined me on that one. And so, we had a really good time. We had a good turnout there as well, too. And, it's about sharing ideas, doing different things with each other. So on the stove over here right now, we actually have some yams boiling. And when we say yams in Jamaica, we are actually talking about, like yellow yams, where we actually, it's not like the sweet potatoes that you're used to in America and other places in the world. When we say yams, we're talking about like yellow yam or white yam or, just different things like that. So you'll get to see that as well, too. Let me take a look. So I'm just seeing the chat that's coming up here. So we have Pastor Juanita. Hello, Pastor Juanita. She says, hi, Marlene's greetings to everyone. Yes, ma'am. So we are cooking today. And we have Mondell from Johnson Home Decor and Lifestyle. She says, good evening, everyone. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And be sure to give me that thumbs up, when you come in, so that way we can, have this go out to more people even after the chat. Well, during and after as well. So as I said, I'm going to be cooking some corned beef and cabbage. You can see I have a nice cabbage here. That's this little one right here. And we have our corned beef, because when they say corned beef and cabbage in America and Ireland, and, they celebrated a lot in Ireland, corned beef and cabbage for them, they're slicing up like, the beef, like the whole, like a steak type thing, or, like a roast or whatever. They're cutting up something like that. And they're cooking it, down in a different way. But when we say corned beef in Jamaica, we're talking about this one right here. And I'm not promoting this brand specifically. This just happens to be the one that we are using currently. There are different brands that we use. I kind of described it to someone who couldn't see it. It's kind of like Spam, but it's not Spam. It's much, much nicer. No disrespect to Spam, but it's much, much nicer. It breaks apart very easily. It has a really good flavor, and people just absolutely love it. So let me take a look now. So Stephanie, hello, Stephanie from Creative Living Miss Me. She says, hello, Marlene. Hello, 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 and welcome. We are cooking today. And Neil Chin says, good afternoon, everyone. So we're definitely glad to have you. And be sure to give me that thumbs up, like I said before, so we can get this going out to other people. And oh, by the way, guys, we're going to be putting in some, hope you can see it really good here from the lighting. This is a Scotch bonnet pepper. Anybody know about the Scotch bonnet peppers? They know, or they call it habanero sometimes, but they're usually not flat like this. The habaneros are kind of more longer at the bottom, but similar size, and it looks kind of similar. But this, guys, is very, very hot. So when I'm going to use it today, I'm not even going to like cut a piece off. I'm just going to slit it and drop it in the pot and that we'll have it that way. Or maybe my husband might he might get me to put it in there. I don't know. We'll see. But everything has been washed already, so they're prepared. They're nice and clean. So we can be good to go with that. So while we're waiting for a few more people to come on, I'm not sure if you wanted to come through and make us some lemonade, because I have my little jug right here. Lemonade is a common drink at Jamaica. We just want to do something that takes a quick amount of time, not too fussy. But we also put a little splash of bitters. It's not alcoholic. It's called Angostura bitters. And if you have ever tried it before, you can let me know in the comments. Hope you can see this in the right way. But we put a little splash in here just to give it a little bit of flavor, and it goes a long way. So we basically just add like sugar in there, along with some lemon juice. See, my husband is back there. And, we take it from there with the usual stuff. So we're going to add some sugar. He's saying hello. What you said? Oh, you said hot but good flavor. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and start off with a little bit of lemonade first before we get to the corned beef and cabbage. Just waiting for a few more people to come over. So he's actually over there, and he is juicing out the lemons for us so we can have them. Because when you have something like corned beef and cabbage, because the cabbage is in there and the corned beef, you don't want to have something heavy like a smoothie or, like your heavier drink. Some people may have like ginger ale or something, but we figured that like the lemonade goes really well with it. And that's typically, what we have. But of course, you can have whatever you like. So.
And the vitamin C from the lemons, releases the nutrients from the cabbage.
It's good. Yeah. So the lemon is all better for you than having soda, hands down every time. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done. Let me get my my measuring cup, or just use a regular cup to probably just dunk it in there. So we're just gonna eyeball it, as we say. We don't want to put too much sugar in there either. And this is just to fill the time until the others come on, so that way we can have our little lemonade. Have you guys ever tried using Angostura bitters before in your drinks? I don't know if you have, but just gives it that little extra kick. Just something a little bit different. So I'm stirring out the lemonade here and just waiting for him to here. Thanks for the correction. Stirring out the sugar here, just waiting for the lemon to come over. Let me get a little spoon and see if we have enough sugar. I try not to use a whole bunch of sugar in my stuff, but you still have to have a decent amount in order for it to have some kind of flavor to it. So let me see. It needs just a tad more sugar. And of course, sometimes we'll use brown sugar, in there, but today I'm using this one. They said the brown sugar is better for you. Like, what do you call it? The raw sugar? Hi, Lorna. Lorna just joined us. Lorna, we cooking corned beef and cabbage today, Jamaican style. I know you're from Jamaica, so you know exactly where we're going with this. And Wanda from Johnson Home, of course, says hi. Marcus, she's saying hello. So I think we have enough sugar in there now. He's waving. So I think we have enough sugar in here now. So we can go ahead and add in our lemon juice. Gonna get it through with a strainer. We gotta have something to wash it down, because we actually made some rice earlier that we're gonna add to it, because my Navy, I'm not sure what time he's gonna come on, or maybe he'll catch the replay, but he was just like, he said, make sure you have some white rice with it. So of course. This is one of the strainers that's really, really, the ones that are really, really fine. So it takes a little bit of time. Me, I gotta get every ounce, so let me just put some in here. Just get it all to go out. So this is gonna be a nice glass of lemonade in a few minutes. I don't know if some people put the pulp in there, but I don't. I don't even like my orange juice with pulp in it, to be honest. I just don't. We're just gonna put a little splash, and this is what I was talking about before, the Angostura bitters. If you guys ever tried it before, you can let me know. And it's just, you see how tiny, I don't know if you can see how tiny the hole is on here, because I'm on my laptop. I don't know if your phone will show it up, but they don't expect you to put a lot. So maybe just like a few drops in there. 2 drops. Now my hand's shaking because I don't want to get too much. That's it, right there. So you guys ever tried it before? You can let me know in the comments. So this is going to be good. And see, I have it in my little green jug. And this is for St. Patrick's Day. I just wanted to give you a little background on St. Patrick's Day in the meantime. St. Patrick's, he's actually, a lot of people celebrate the day, like in America. Sometimes they'll dye some of the lakes green. or just do various different things. And sometimes it's kind of paganized, but honestly, it really had a Christian beginning, St. Patrick's Day, because he actually grew up. People think he came from Ireland, but he did not. He actually came from Scotland. And they actually, he was kidnapped at 16 years old, and then he was taken to Ireland. Some, unkind people did that to him. They took him there, and then he got released after serving some time over there and went back home. But he had bonded so well with the people in Ireland that he decided to go back to Ireland. And that's what he did to tell them about Christianity, because his father, I think they said, was a pastor or a priest. So he went back over there to spread the gospel to them. And so that's what he did. And he, I think he got in trouble for it after a while because they weren't appreciating it too much. But even like when you see the shamrock, let me show you a shamrock. I'll be right back in a second, because I have a couple of them here that I've used in previous decorations, unless somebody moved them. Yeah, I have them, guys. I'm coming over in a second. Just bear with me. I have them in this bag here that I got from the dollar store. And you'll notice that they have it has 3 sections to it. And they said that he actually uses to explain about the Trinity to the people over there: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So that there are 3, even though they're one thing, there is 3 in 1. So I thought, wow, see, sometimes you don't even know where these things started, but that's pretty much how St. Patrick's Day, what he did, so it does have a Christian background, but they bring other things in there, and pot of gold, leprechaun, and all the other stuff. But that is actually where it originated from. So of course you celebrate it any way you want. That's your decision, but just to say that that's what it was. So Johnson Home Decor said, yes, oh, absolutely. So yep, so that's for that part. So I think we're gonna go ahead now. We have our lemonade made. Could you put this to chill a little bit in the fridge for me, please, dear? Thank you so much. You got it there. So we're gonna go ahead and get our cabbage started. I hope you can see me real good there. This one is really big. Sometimes it can have some really, really large cabbages inside of I shop at Walmart, by the way. I'm not sure where you guys get your stuff, but see, like this one here, it's really, sometimes they're tough. It's like the ones that we get from Jamaica. They're usually a little bit softer in nature.
Smaller.
And by the way, kids, if there are any kids that wanted to try this, please make sure you have your parent supervision, or at least have them cut the cabbage for you first, because the ones over here, they can be really, really tough. So I'm thinking I'm probably just gonna use like this portion here. That should be enough for let me bring it up a little nearer because the lights. I'm gonna use this one. See, it's nice and green, and you have the inside parts there. So I think that amount should be sufficient for us. So I'm gonna use that, and that should be good enough for us. And we have our onion over here. And usually I use gloves when I'm getting my onions cut. So because I have very sensitive skin, I've told you all about that before, so you already know my story. So I'm gonna have my husband come and cut up the onions for me. So don't go anywhere, guys. Stay right there. And you can let me know in the comments too if you cook your corned beef this, or you cook it in the traditional, American way, how they have it like sliced, or if you're doing it that way. So can you go ahead and cut that up for me, please?
Right, now the onion, you want to start when you cut it to make it not be as the acid to burn your eyes or anything like that. Cut it in half, right? And when you cut it in half like that, right, it makes it easier. And then you start cutting it not from the bottom, but you cut it from the top, so that way less of the fumes
doesn't burn your eyes,
burn your
as
eyes,
much,
right? And then pretty much what you do, you just cut in thin slices as normal. And that's pretty much it.
So he's cutting through there.
There you go.
Yep, so that was easy, right, guys? So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get our stove lit for our cabbage. And what I noticed is that the cabbages over here, that they tend to be a little bit, like I was saying, firmer to me. So sometimes when I'm cooking it in Jamaica, I actually don't have to add any water. But for the one over here, I have to add a little splash of water to it. So where's my bottle of oil? So I'm gonna go ahead and add some oil into the pot. And if you want to have like a lot of oil, you can always add more if you like, but For me, I just use a couple of capfuls or tablespoonfuls.
Eyeball it.
Yeah. Because I have a decent size one there. So I'd say maybe like about, I think this is maybe like about half. I think that should be sufficient. So I would say maybe like about half of it, not half, about like 5 teaspoons of oil. I know some people they use butter on theirs, but that's not so much for me. You just kind of like swirl it around a little bit so the oil covers the bottom. And I'm gonna go ahead and add part of the onions that I have here and just drop them in the pot. And sometimes, I'm sorry you can't see inside the pot, guys, but you basically want to just separate them out because sometimes they get stuck together. So you kind of have to get them to, you know, be flat in the pot. So they're in there and they're kind of cooking down a little bit now. So let me get the other cutting board so I can start to shred the cabbage. And some people, they cut their cabbage, they cut it kind of thin. I don't know if you cut your cabbages thin or you cut them thick. I'm not sure how you do yours. But for me, I like mine reasonably thin. I don't like them too chunky. Because sometimes I'll see like they'll cut them and like this part is still attached on there. When I cut mine, I cut them so you're not getting this part here. You're just getting this part here. So that's how I do mine. We have another little board right here. If you can see, me cutting it there. You know, I want to make sure you keep an eye on your onions because sometimes they're ready to start burning. Onions and plantains, see that they cook the same way. To me, sometimes it's kind of like it's like 1 minute they're not cooking, and then next thing you know, it's like it's burning up. You know, you can tell me if that ever is your experience, but especially the plantains because it has all of that sugar in there. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. So let me show you. I don't know if you can see it really well. Maybe I should shift this around a little bit so you can see it better. Just wanted to show you the thickness that I use for my cabbage. So this is what it's looking like here. That size right there. That's how I do mine. So let me see. You said Mark the chef. Yes, indeedy. There are actually some foods that my husband cook better than me. And there's some foods that I cook better than him. So I don't know. I don't know who has the edge in that regard. If he's the better cook than me. I know I'm the better baker than him. What you say, Mark? Who's the better cook? You or me? What you say? Who is?
Hey, the queen is always right.
I think you watched the last video, ladies. Well, the second to last one. I saw this guy with a t-shirt. He said, I don't always listen to my wife. I thought it was so funny. He said, I don't always listen to my wife, but whenever I do, things work out better. I said, oh my goodness. I said, did she buy you that shirt? He said, sure enough. I thought that was funny.
All right.
We can kind of just put it in here so we have a place to put them in the meantime. You know, you can put it in a bowl if you want. Your decision. And I can smell the onions cooking already. They smell so good. It's like once I smell the onion, it's like, yep, we are in business. So he's stirring them around. And I try to use up as much of the leaves that I can because, you know, I think they say the greener part is actually better for you. Pastor Juanita says, happy wife, happy life. Absolutely. It's no joke. This guy was listening the other day and I didn't get to hear it properly, but he kind of basically went down the same road. I don't know if you guys listen to him where you are, but we're in the southeastern United States. His name is Willie Moore. No sponsorship or anything there, but I do listen to him sometimes. And he had someone come on, and he was basically telling the men like how to, you know, that to have a better relationship with your spouse, you know, your wife, and it's basically to validate what they're saying. I mean, they may not be right, but they said just, you know, validate what they're saying so that way they can feel that you value what they're saying, even though you may not necessarily agree with them, and that way you prevent a lot of arguments and stuff like that. So, yeah, a few of them are a little bigger too. It doesn't matter that seriously, but, you know, that might be my little OCD nature kicking in right here. I do have that sometimes. And it has its purpose, you know. So, Mondale, do you cook yours like this? Because I know you're, you said this was one of your favorite meals. So do you cook yours like this? I'm not sure if you're stepped away for a second because, you know, sometimes you gotta go get a drink of water or answer your door or whatever, attend to your child, you know. So I don't know if you cook yours that way or not. Lorna, I don't know if you cook yours that way, or Pastor Juanita, you could tell me this is how you slice yours, or you slice them bigger. So this is why I like to just keep it on a low flame, because that way I can monitor it really well. See, I want to, just give an eye over there. And I like to fry it on a little bit first, so that way, a little bit of that, it's not really caramelized brightly, but a little bit of caramelization is taking place over there. So that way, you have some flavor going through there. So we have it cooking down. Still, yeah, I'm gonna add it in afterwards. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding some of the cabbage to it now. And it's good to have a Dutch, like, because we're putting it in this pot right there. You can see this kind of dark, but this is the pot right here. I'm just adding it into the pot. So it's good to have a Dutch pot or Dutch oven, as we say. We have a smaller one here. That one is gonna be for the corned beef. You just add everything in there. I can still stand to add, and let me just add in the additional onions that are there, so they're kind of like blended in together. You need a fork for this job because sometimes they get stuck together. I'm sorry that you guys can't see in the pot, but just kind of like use your imagination just a little bit. No, that's okay. So we have it in there. And then the next thing we're going to do now is to add some salt. Where is my salt? Here it is. And I just kind of eyeball my salt. I'm not sure if you guys just, you cook your food that way, but I'd say this is probably maybe about 3/4 of a teaspoon. And the good thing with salt is that you can always go back in, and it's better to add too little because you can always go back in and you can add some more. But if it's over salt, then what you're going to do? If you're cooking certain things, they say you can maybe add like a piece of carrot or something like that in there to to help to dilute out some of the salt. But it's better to add salt to have to add salt back to your pot than to have to go in and figure out how to make it less salty. And I do my corned beef and cabbage separately. Some people, they put them together because, like my brother, that's how he makes it. And he said his fiance don't like it like that. And I said I can understand why. It still tastes good, but I like them to be separate on the plate. You know what I mean? I see Tiffany said hello. Hi, Tiffany. Let me keep going now. So she says, yes, I sure do. Or she said, I cut my cabbage different, but I will try it your way. So, okay, is that bigger or smaller? She says, I was about to ask you what kind of pots you use because it makes a difference in how the food cooks. Absolutely. So, like this here, let me show you the Dutchie. We call it the Dutchie in Jamaica, the Dutch pot. You see this? This came up from Jamaica because guess what? We can't get these over here.
Well, you can, but they're different.
You're not going to get it. You're not getting it. You see this? This is years of cooking, guys. Years of cooking right here, okay? 30, we're not ashamed of this pot. It works.
30 years old.
This is the good one. Because it have a lot of like iron in it. Some of them nowadays is full of aluminum. They're so white like snow when you see them. It's like, is that really a Dutch pot for real? Seriously. So let me see now. So Johnson Home Decor says it all depends. Sometimes I do it bigger. Okay, yeah. Everybody do it there different. And especially too, like people over here when they do the when they do it like the way how they do it in Ireland and those places, then they tend to do it bigger as well too. I'm just going in and taking off all of these things here. Yeah, man. I remember in Hurricane Gilbert, nobody don't want to see they don't want to see no corned beef. They're like, enough already. We don't want no more. And that's the thing with Jamaica too. We're a melting pot. We have all different type of influences from different cultures because this came from Ireland. It's like the whole St. Patrick situation. It came from Ireland, And we have visitors come over. Sometimes they come from work, and they come and they teach you how they do their thing, and it's just like nice. the next thing again too, because the corned beef, because this is a brand that I'm using, and again, I'm not, it's not sponsored or anything. This is just the one that we happen to be using right now. Let me show you really close. If you ever wanted to try it, you can use that brand. This is Grace or any other one you want. And it's kind of like Spam in terms of how it's packaged, but it's very, very, it's much better.
Yeah, when you open it, you'll see the difference.
Yeah, not much better. So it's kind of a little salty because it is cured. So, again, for that same reason, you also still don't want to put a lot of salt in your cabbage because you're going to have salt, and salt is like too much salt. So it's starting to steam down now, so that's good. This is how we look in here. Everything is mixed around in there. And usually I just add a little spot. As you see, a little spot of water. Just a little spot. So I don't know if you guys add water to yours, but I just add a little bit of water like this because we don't want it to burn, So when you smell burnt cabbage, people, it's not a nice, cabbage is a funny thing. Cabbage is so good for you. It's in the family called the cruciferous family. That's my gardening coming in there again. But it's in the cruciferous family, and those things they have kind of like sulfur compounds in them, so they can be very stinky sometimes. So like if they rot, they smell really bad, but they're very good for you though. And at the same time too, they like if they burn, they smell kind of funny too, so you kind of have to be careful with them. But again, they are really, really good for you, but you don't want your cabbage to burn, Even like onions too. Onions have sulfur compounds in them. So that's why sometimes they can be kind of like a bit much, but we need them. It's so good for us. You have to try to get a lot of, we try to get a lot of, like vegetable in our diet. It don't always work because sometimes you're rushing and it's just so easy to just grab easy to cook stuff. And we end up not doing it. But, it's really better for you. You can incorporate that. So it's kind of steaming a little bit now. You'll see that it shrinks too. So when you're cooking it for people, always bear in mind that your cabbage is going to shrink a lot. So for that reason, you want to make sure, I'd say maybe about half. So whatever you have in there, you may end up with half of the size of it. You know what I mean? So you want to bear that in mind too when you're cooking your cabbage. It shrinks. The rice swells, but the cabbage shrinks. Isn't that something?
You want to take this away?
Yes, you can move that now. I think I have enough there. So once you start steaming down, like it looking, it starts to get a little bit softer. Then that's the time to add in your black pepper. Black pepper give it that extra kick right there. And some people don't like a lot of pepper, so you just eyeball it. You don't want to have too much pepper in there, too much black pepper. You just go through and stir it around. So we're just stirring. And normally when you have a reasonable amount, you see like a little, a couple little black spots here and there in there. So we're steaming it down now. And once everything has been thoroughly stirred, you can always leave it to steam down. Take a look at the chat to see what's going on over here. She says, absolutely delicious. Yes. I agree. I wish you guys, we had something I could, like teleport some of the food over to you. But, you can always try. Because, again, you can do it for St. Patrick's Day or any other time that you like. And it will be good to go. My husband over here, he over there frying plantains. And it's the one that it's not fully ripe. It's kind of green. It's partially ripe. It's not like, And I love it that way because it has a little more crunch to it. I love sweet plantains too, but like something like this, I think that's probably more appropriate. But some people like it that way too. So we're just gonna stir fry here and here and get it going. I don't want it to be too hot because I don't want my cabbage to burn. So guys, see it's steaming down, it's shrinking inside, looking a little bit softer if you can see it from what I'm doing there. And at this point, I'm just going to add a wee little bit more water to it and then stir it, and then we'll put it to steam down because that steaming process has to take place. You don't want it to be soggy. Some people, they like to have a little crunch on the cabbage when they eat it, but I don't. I don't like crunch on my onions. If I'm having raw onions, fine. But if I'm having it, If it's cooked, I don't want to hear any crunch when I bite into my onions. So see how we look in there, guys? It's, you know, it's flopping over. It says getting softer. The pepper is distributed. The salt is distributed. So at this point, now we can just go ahead and cover it.
Let me get this.
He was borrowing my cover. And this is a pot right here, guys. We're cooking some yams. This nice big stock pot right here. We are cooking some yams, some yellow yams in there. So see, you know, it's getting softer. As you can kind of like see flopping over the spoon. So that way you know that we are getting somewhere. And if you have the time and patience, you could stand here and stir fry the whole time. You don't even have to cover it. You can just stir fry the whole time if you want. And you know, you taste it. I know this is fine because, you know, I've done it a couple of times, you know, adding that amount. So I know the flavor is okay based on what I added. But you can always taste it at this point and see, you know, if it's salt enough for you. Let me see who we got here. So Lorna says, oh, I almost forgot my pepper. Thank you for putting that on here. Let me see. Mondale says, I usually wash it to the leftover water from washing it over the pot. Okay, yeah, definitely. And Lorna says, I do it the same with a lot of pepper. I love spicy food. Yes, my dear. Thank you for saying that, because here is Mr. Pepper, Mr. Scotch Bonnet, right here. See him there? This is the bad boy right here. And this thing is hot. So, for that reason, because, I mean, I used to be able to eat a lot of hot pepper, but once I started having kids, at that point, I noticed that I couldn't, like, have a lot of pepper anymore. And plus, I used to cook the food softer for them, so it wasn't hot like that. So, basically, what I do at this point is I just put a little slit in the bottom, you know, like right here. And then, can you wash this for me, please? So once it has a split in there, and I just drop it in the cabbage, so that way the flavor is going to come out. And again, guys, this is, it kind of, habanero peppers are similar. Maybe you can get habanero peppers, but this is the one I use. I just kind of like drop it in there.
Yeah, it's the habanero pepper is different from Scotch bonnet.
Yeah, the Scotch bonnet is a little bit flatter. And I just kind of cover it over and let it sit in there. So it's going to have that nice pepper flavor. So that's steaming on a little bit. And let me take a look and see how our yam is doing. You're gonna have some good food tonight, guys. I wish you guys could get some through the camera there. So let me show you what the yam looks like. This is what it looks like right here, the yellow yam. Can you see it? So you see, it doesn't look like the what you're used to as far as the let's say sweet potatoes. So that's what it looks like. It's yellow, and sometimes you have the white ones too, and so on. So it's almost cooked. It just needs a little bit more time. And we just go back in and check again, see how we're doing here, because again, you don't want to have your cabbage burned. So we are cooking. It smells so good in here, people. I'm telling you.
Sorry.
It smells so good. So we're steaming down some more. I do want to cook the corned beef, but the only thing is I'm trying to think if you guys could see the pot. I guess you can see it from over there. Yeah, I suppose that's one way we could do it. Should I turn that all the way down? So I go this way, you go that way. Is that burner too big for the Dutch pot though?
Let's move it to the front.
All right. I'm gonna start to cook our corned beef now. So he was nice enough to cut my my onions for me. You can see them right. He put a lot of onions though. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
you guys use
a lot of onions.
Let me see what Johnny Bridget said. I can only imagine the delicious smell. Yes, ma'am. It is smelling so good up inside this place. This is a lot of onions though. I think that's he put the excess amount. That's it right there. Can you see it, guys? I hope so.
All right.
The lighting is a little off. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and cook our corned beef now. And I don't know if you guys, my fellow Jamaicans on here, you know what kind of corned beef you use. I know we have Excelsior. Excelsior is another brand. They have Libby's corned beef over here in America. So they do use that over here. And that's another option too. Make sure that this little pot here sticks good on the stove. That's the one thing. This burner is really nice, and the grill on there, but it doesn't allow for a pot with a curve to sit so good on there. That's the only downside to it. The only downside. So we're gonna add some oil to the pot. And I want to make sure you have a decent amount because we'll put a little bit more. We have to get our onions to be nicely fried out. So we're good. I think I'm gonna probably use about half of what he put in here. So in this case, we're gonna go ahead and guys, you don't be afraid of the pot. If you drop the food in the pot and you run, you are going to get burned. So it could have been a little hotter, I think, but anyway, it will come up. So I would say that was maybe like about 3 tablespoons of oil that I put in there. I'm just waiting for it to come up a little bit. And this burner, I think, is probably a little bit too big for the pot, but I put it over here so that way you can see what we're doing. I don't want to be blocking what I'm doing here. And some people they use butter to cook their cabbage. You know, some people use butter. I don't know if you guys use butter, but my mom used to use butter, but actually she used margarine when I was growing up to cook her like to steam her cabbage or to steam like callaloo and so on. And if you know about callaloo, that is a big thing in Jamaica. Mandel says, I wish I was close to have some dinner. Everything looks so delicious. And that yellow yam, girl, I'm telling you, I am just ready for that yellow yam. It's no joke. That's one of my favorite things. My grandma used to grow yellow yams, so she had so much we could actually afford to sell them. Like 100 pounds of yellow yams. And she had a good one because they were dry, nice and dry. I always say, Jeremy, that when you cook it, it kind of like has that nice, it just feels good in your mouth. It doesn't have that, it doesn't feel like it's full of liquidy and kind of like, chayote or chocho, as we call it back home. It's nice and just creamy and it just goes good. She had a really good one over there. I'm just like, wow. Let me add a little bit more of the onions. Why not?
We'll get some salt.
Need some salt. There you go. Yep, so the burner's a little bit bigger and I didn't want to make the fire too hot. So it's taking a little while to start frying up. But we just kind of get it to cook until caramelize a little bit, but not to have it burned. So we are getting along with it here.
That's weird. I'll watch it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check on my yams now to see if they're cooked. And checking the yam is the same thing like if you're cooking potatoes, like you're cooking, like your regular potatoes, roasted potatoes or whatever. Once you cook it on the fork going, it's soft, you know that you're good. So I'm gonna turn it off. I don't want it to start breaking apart back there. Can I get that fork over there, please? Fork. Mm-hmm. And I need to check on this little guy over here. But again, I don't want it to be burned. So I think our cabbage is ready to go. I'm going to turn that one off. So you guys again tell me what you think so far. I think it was pretty easy to do. In my opinion, you can tell me because it's the only thing I'd say, because like a meal for kids, they could cook this at home. But I'd say you can just shred the cabbage for them first. And then you can also, just open that tin because I've gotten cut on corned beef can before. I'm not going to lie. I've been cut on it before because it's very sharp. And you have the key. Let me show you the key. The key that's on here, you have to use the key to open it. So you have to be really careful because you can end up cutting yourself. And it was a bad cut I had that day. I mean, not major stuff, but still it was decent enough size. So if you're going to be doing this for your kids, then you want to make sure that you take out the corned beef first, put it in a dish, put it in the fridge. And then when they're ready, they can just take it out. Let it sit for maybe about half an hour and they can mash it out very easily. So that's the corned beef right here. You can use whatever brand you like. They have Libby's in America. They have Excelsior. They have Grace. And if I'm missing any other ones, but they have different ones. So let me see what's going on here. Oh, she says I cook my cabbage with shredded carrots. You know, I could have put some in there. Apostle likes it that when it's good. It's good for you too. And sometimes I do it. I guess because we're doing St. Patrick's, I left it out. But that's fine. You can always shred a little bit of cabbage and add it in there. I mean, carrots and add it in there too, because that gives you even more nutrition in it. So that's definitely something to do. You can put that in there as well too. So now my onions are frying. I don't know if you can hear it. And like I was saying before, as far as onions go, I don't like when my onions have a crunch when I'm eating my food. Some people, they're okay with that, but that's not for me. I like when they cook good through and through. And so that way I always check it. But you have to be careful that you don't burn your onions, because it's kind of like a happy balance. You don't want the onions to be burned, but you don't want the onions to be crunchy. So you kind of have to, check in on it. So let's see. So Penny says, hello, Marlene and everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, Miss Penny, welcome, 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 welcome. Glad to see you. You're such a busy lady, so I'm so glad you showed up tonight. She's very much into ministry, and she, does her channel and everything. Actually, 2 channels. Got a lot going on there, and grandkids and everything. So it's quite a bit much. So like this, let me show you right here now. I just hold it over this. See, like this is the limit. You don't want it to get browner than that little mark right there, because then it's gonna be, you may start to get it burned. That one is the most cooked one in this pot though, so I'm good to go. We're still in a good place. So Penny, have you ever cooked your cabbage, corned beef and cabbage this way? We are using the corned beef from the can right here. And we have our cabbage that we shredded earlier, and we cooked it. And I'll show you, I'll plate it for you so you'll see it at the end, what we have here. Our little onions are still coming along. Let me see the chat here. She says, oh, you use Libby's. Okay, yes. Libby's, because we have used that one too. So Shanika, I can imagine the aroma in your kitchen. Yes, my dear, it smells so good. And Pastor Juanita says, Marlene, you and your husband make cooking look so effortless and fun. Yes, that's why you have to try to do things in life, my dear. Make it be fun and try to make it easy. And I mean, you do it more and more, and you just get better at it. It takes practice. Oops, sorry, dear. Because when I just started, I'm just kind of like, will I ever learn to cook like my mom? Because my mom is such, she's a boss cook. Was rest her soul in peace. So normally we go in and we take off the paper. So please be careful, when you're using your knife. I take it off because I like to see what we're doing here. So you have the key right here. And then I'm not so good at doing this. I don't want to mess up the key, because one time I did it and the key broke off. So this is it right here. You have this part that stick out right here, and the key has a little let me hold this up properly for you. The key has a little hole in it, so you kind of like put it in there. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark, could you open this, please? When I'm not on camera, I can experiment with it, but I don't want to cut myself. I don't want to have any issues tonight, in Jesus' name.
Okay, the key thing is to make sure that when you do it, everything goes in a straight line, right? If you look at the marks here, it has a line that goes all the way around the can, and that basically is what you're going to follow. So you basically keep everything in a straight line, right? Don't twist it like that. Keep it straight. When you keep it straight, everything will go smoothly for you. So you see everything is going like a
they're
coil.
not seeing what you're doing there. Hold it up a little bit to the camera.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Like that. So everything is in a straight line.
Light. Make sure they can see. Yeah. And
You
you just
keep
turn it
going.
around. And then some people leave the paper on, but I like to take the paper off so I can see everything that I'm doing.
So you see everything is in a straight line. It's not like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just keep going like that. Once you do it, you're fine. Top it up, and you just push it out with a fork.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Squeeze it also. So
you can squeeze it so it kind of come out a little bit easier. And because I try to be safe over my stove whenever I'm doing stuff. By the way, I turned the fire off because the onions are ready. Let me show you what they look like. I'll show you like maybe 1 or 2. Just so you can see it. So this is what the onions are looking like right now. I want you to make sure you can see them. You see, they're kind of more, you can see through them. They have a kind of like, almost like a translucent look, if that's the right word.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see, your onions. You won't have any crunch on them, but it will still be good enough. So it's not soggy or anything like that. So the onions are ready. And then, like I was saying, to be safe, we just kind of like squeeze the can a little bit like that. But I still go ahead and I put it in a bowl. I honestly prefer to be washing up more things than to have trouble in my kitchen. So I'll just go in and just, use a fork and just take time and take it out. And you can see how it is. That's how it is, the consistency. You can break it up. Just use your fork and break it up. And this thing, guys, it tastes so good. I'm not gonna lie. Because people see anything, oh, it probably likes the other one, but it's not like that at all. It tastes so good. We just got tired of it in Jamaica after Hurricane Gilbert. That's all we could eat, because we never have any power. You don't want your meat to spoil. We didn't have any electricity, so we had to make do with it. So I basically just mash it out, so you can see it right there. And then we're gonna go ahead and add it. Oops, wrong one. I'm gonna turn on back the burner, so we are ready to add it in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add it in. Let me shift this over here. I try to keep my life as incident-free as I possibly can. If I have to take an extra step, I will do it, just to make sure.
Use all the fork.
This fork is good, it's fine. It works. The main thing is this little round bottom pot on this burner. I have to keep my eye on it. And you just go ahead and just mash it out in there. Yes, sir.
Let me just bring it over so they can see it.
I can tilt it a little bit forward for you so you can see it in the pot there. Yep. Okay, sir. Thank you. So that's the consistency we want. And just keep mashing it. Mashing, mashing, mashing. And you really have to put a reasonable amount of oil in there, because if you don't put enough oil, it's going to stick on the bottom and be a hot mess. So you don't want to, it's not like you're frying it. It's really just a saute, but you still need a decent amount of oil in the bottom of it. All right. So next thing we're going to do now, and some people, it's optional. We add a little bit of ketchup to ours, and I like this one. They said this is an organic brand from Walmart. So we're just gonna squirt a little bit in there. That's probably maybe like about a tablespoon and a half. But again, it's the taste. Some people they leave out that step, but we love that additional flavor of the ketchup. It tastes so good. And can I get another Scotch bonnet pepper, please? And then we're gonna add a little bit of black pepper. You need to go to I get a lot of stuff at Walmart. Walmart needs to sponsor me, because I use so much of their products. We'll add a little bit of black pepper in there. So we're almost ready here with this meal. We just need a Scotch bonnet now.
You want a green one or a red one?
We'll take a green since we're doing St. Patrick's Day special. So this is the other look here. See how they flat at the bottom? Because this is the corned beef, I'm going to actually cut it. One thing you want to make sure though is the seeds in here, please, unless you have people that really, really love pepper like that, you want to make sure that you are not getting the seeds in there, because the flesh, the skin or whatever you call it, it actually has heat in it, but the heat is seriously coming from the seeds. So, like if you have younger children or you have people who don't like pepper like that, then I would say definitely make sure you don't put the seeds in it. Leave them out. People like it. People like a lot of pepper. And I just drop one piece in there and then just stir it around. And this is kind of like a saute, so you basically you don't want to cover it because it's gonna sweat and be kind of weird, So once everything looks like it's gelling together, And I could have put the pepper in there a little bit earlier. I kind of forgot because it wasn't over there. So you can put the pepper earlier and saute it with your onions. That's an option. We're gonna turn that off. So let me take a look at the chat what we're doing so far. Warren Wilson. Oh man, I think that's my nephew, right? Oh, daddy got the same name. Yes, he said, "Save me a plate." You are late for the party, Warren. Where you been, man? You are late for the party, but welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you. Lorna says, "I prefer the grace." I hear you. Penny says, "I have ate corned beef and cabbage, but never cooked it. It is always canned corned beef that cooks use. I love it. Absolutely." She said, "Yes, ma'am, with my patient tonight. Thank God it's a good night." Well, thanks be to God for that. So he says, taking care of the baby, LOL. Yes, so that's my nephew. Is he 5 months now or 4 months? He has a young baby, so he he has daddy duties, so he can't always jump on here right away. But it don't matter. You catching the good part here. And guys, remember that you can always go back and you can let me just put the camera up a little bit. You can always go back and you can always watch the replay. It's gonna be there for you if you missed the first part, because it's an easy recipe. It's a good option for St. Patrick's Day. People love it. I haven't had one person apart from it was Chloe, after Hurricane Gilbert. Anybody who has it, they really, really like it. So I would say, definitely guys, try. And be sure to give me a thumbs up too, as far as the chat goes today, so that way YouTube can send it out to more people and they can get it. So he says the baby is 5 months old. Okay, he's growing up so nice. That was a nice video that you sent me the other day of him. Yes, you can cover it, please, because we're gonna go ahead and plate it out for you shortly. And plating, I did, yeah. And plating just means that you're just putting it on the plate and serving it out to whoever you're giving it to. It could be on a platter, whichever one you like. So I think we got everything going good here now. Our cabbage is ready. There's a nice flavor of pepper there. How did the plantains go? How are they looking over there? He was frying some plantains too. So we were doing quite a thing here tonight. Let me see your plantains. Ooh, we didn't have a lot, but it is good. Look at this guy. This is a green one. Well, I'd say it's between green and we call it turn in Jamaica, which means that it's not ripe, but it's not green. So he cut it in half, and then cut each of them crossways, or I should say long ways like this, and then he fried them and sprinkled some salt on there. When I tell you, this thing is good.
Yeah, it's like
Mama, yeah, let me show you.
It's like a large banana.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you've seen plantains in my Jamaican video before, I think, but the lighting's a little off here. But you can, yeah, that's better. So you see, it's not like green, but it's a slight yellow green going to yellowish. And that's the state you want it at if you're gonna try to fry the green one. And he just basically cut it across here.
Yeah, it's not like banana.
Yeah, see the difference now in size and everything. So he basically just cut it in half and then peel the skin off and then just slice it 3 times that way and fry it. And it is so good. And guess what? We call it bun in Jamaica when it look like that. See that caramelized, look like it kind of burnt. Oh my goodness. That's one of my things that I like, when it kind of cooked, not burnt, because that's how we want it, and it have that really nice flavor in it. Yes, and it's crunchy. I'm not going to eat in front of y'all, though, because I'm not going to try to, be unkind. So we're going to go ahead and serve up a plate. Oh, we need to warm up some of the rice. Did you warm some of the rice? We cooked the rice earlier. The rice is not so warm anymore. But in the meantime, guys, I'm just going to quickly go over the whole St. Patrick's thing again. Again, this is just anytime you want to cook corned beef, but, corned beef and cabbage tend to go really well for St. Patrick's Day. And it has been paganized, yes, but it really had Christian roots as far as St. Patrick's Day goes. St. Patrick was actually from Scotland. He was kidnapped at 16 years old, taken to Ireland, and I guess he was kind of doing like hard labor over there, and he really had to lean on his faith in that period of his life. And then he got freed after a while and he went back to Scotland, but he was so much in love with the people that he decided to go back to Ireland. and tell him about Christianity. And that's what he did. So that's what he's known for. You know, you have little things that come in here and there. You talk about leprechauns, pot of gold, you know, all those other things come in there, dyeing some of the lakes green and the rivers. And it looks pretty, you know, for the moment, or if you like that kind of a thing, you know, that's all well and good. And, you know, people dress up in the green. I did wear green because this is green for Jamaica and green for St. Patrick's Day as well. So let me show you the shamrock. I had used some of these for a previous St. Patrick's Day decoration that I was doing. So let me take it out. These are actually from the dollar store. I think that was last year. Penny, I did a tier tray collab with you on that one. I'm doing more gardening this year because I'm trying to niche down for the purpose of, you know, the whole YouTube algorithm situation. But this is the shamrock right here. And they said it basically stands for the Trinity. He uses to explain the Trinity to people. And it basically stood for Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, you know, 3 in 1. So that's where the whole shamrock and the St. Patrick's Day came from. But, you know, there are other aspects to it as well. And it's a time for fun, for fellowship with your family. You know, you can't have enough of those, to be honest, you know, good, clean fun. So that's as far as the whole St. Patrick's, where it started, you know, the shamrock and the various things that you might see going on out there. So time is coming up now for me to plate this food. So I'm going to get me out a plate and start doing just that. We're using the platter. We want to use a platter. Okay. So we'll use a platter. I think I may put this on afterwards. Let me just rest them right here. That's our plantain. I want to start off with the
Cabbage.
With the cabbage first. So you can see what this little fella here is looking like. So see our cabbages. This is our cabbages looking so far right here. Lighting again. So that's a cabbage right there. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in our corned beef. And if you're just coming on here, you know, this is Marlene's How To's, my home and gardening channel. My regular videos are mostly gardening. I try to stick to that for the most part, but you know, my lives are about just topical things, you know, things that are going on at that season, or you know, something else is resting on our hearts to talk about, and we definitely will. Oh, and let me put the yam. How could I forget the yam? Oh my goodness, I gotta get that yam over here. Sure. He wanted them to cook quick, so he kind of made them a little thinner than I usually have them, but nevertheless, Mr. Yam is coming through. Somebody gonna have a good dinner tonight. I wonder who that could be. You guys could join us if you have the ingredients. For sure.
Plantains.
We'll put our little plantains on here. Oh my. We don't even have any rice in this plate. I just realized, but look at it, guys. Let me turn it off of me and turn it on the subject. So can you see it? I don't want to dip it too much, but we have the cabbage right here, and it's okay. It's good right there. It's fine. You can see it. So they have we have the corned beef right here. We have the yams that we boil. Let me turn it around so you can see it. So we slice them. And we have the plantains back here. So we have cabbage, corned beef, yams, plantains. And, you know, they always wanted, like, you know, embellish it or garnish it with a little bit of Scotch bonnet pepper. And there are some people who they love pepper like that. So you just leave it same place on their plate. You just put it right to the side, or same place just like that. So we're going to put a little bit of rice. The rice cannot fit in this, but it is okay because I'm not going to eat. Well, I probably won't eat all of that. But let me show you the rice. I should have left some space in there, but we have so much food going on over there. But this is the steam rice right here. It's hot. And that's how we like our rice. Because when you cook it, you know, your rice can be soggy, you know, kind of like heavy, depending on what you're having, kind of almost like sticky rice. But when you're having corned beef and cabbage, you need to have rice that looks like that. You can see like the individual grains. They're not undercooked, you know. But at the same time, because it's so much softness going on here. The softness of the cabbage, the softness of the corned beef. You want to make sure that your rice is kind of perky, and that's how we always put other stuff with it too. We'll put, like I said, the we have the plantains there, we have the yams there, and everything. Guys, it smells so good in here, for real. Let me see the comments here. So, oh, Mama's handprint. Hello, Mama. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. I wish you had come earlier. If you wanted to see this, my dear, you can always go ahead and catch the replay. You could just, once we end here, you can always go and watch the replay afterwards, and you can get to see all of it. How we started out, the different things that we used, the cabbage, how I cut them and everything. She says, is that yellow yam? Yes, indeed it is. Oh, Lorna says, I use a seed too. Lorna, you're a pepper lady, man. You love the pepper. I used to be like that, but once I got pregnant, I never look back. I just always have a little bit milder. So, yes, it is yellow yam. Penny says it looks delicious. She says, I've seen some cooks add corned beef inside of cabbage. And that's the thing, too, because my brother, I was hoping he'd get to join me, but I guess he probably was busy doing something. But he says that his fiance had said this earlier as well, too, that she doesn't like it mixed in together. So some people, they'll actually, like how I just prepared the corned beef, they'll go ahead and put it back in the cabbage and stir everything around. And it's kind of like, blended in together. But for me personally, that's not one of my favorite things. I mean, I'll eat it that way too, but I don't like the way it looks. That's just me. Again, probably my OCD kicking in. I don't know. But anyway, I like mine to have it separate, and I just eat a little of this, eat a little of that, and just savor everything. But whatever works for you, it is absolutely fine. Oh no, Miss Emma, you just coming on. Oh no, you missed it. But you can always catch a replay, Miss Emma. We're doing corned beef and cabbage. I'm so glad you joined us. And I did want to give a shout out to these ladies in here before we even go any further, before I show you. My husband over there he's doing something else. He's always up to something. But anyway, I just want to give a shout out to all these ladies. Let's see. Warren says, you have any boiled dumpling? What? No. Hold on. Let's hold on a second there. No, I don't have any boiled dumpling. This because we were so busy today. We had a memorial service that we had to go to pretty much most of the day. So we were running a little late. So there's no boiled dumpling. But anyway, we have a lot of food here. So we're good to go. So she says, Penny says she has a cabbage too, but she cooked them separately. Okay, yes. Mama's hand princess. Hi, Warren. Yes, some cornmeal dumpling. See, that's how the yard people on here, my yard folks. That's like a slang name for Jamaicans sometimes. You call them yardie, like from, back at the yard or whatever, yardie. But you can always tell when you hear some of those words coming up. When she say cornmeal dumplings, if you don't come from the islands or even from Guyana, like my good friend Mondel on here from Johnson Home Decor, they know about those things too. All the different islands in the Caribbean for the most part. Sometimes Deborah Cabasa will join me in here too. She's from Puerto Rico, and they have, some similar things that we do. Not everything, but we have a lot of overlap in the cultures. So yeah. Oh, and Pastor Juanita says, and Barbados. So Mama's unprint said, backyard. Of course. Yes, man. Boiled dumplings, just stuff it off. He said it looks great. So let me show you the final here. So this is it right here. The lighting is always off. I got it good. I got it. So right here now. So you see my husband, he go and be extra. That's him sometimes. And I'm not going to fault him for that. That's a good thing. But he shape it out with a cup. Just get a little cup and just shape it out. So you have 2 cups there, so you kind of know you're serving. And then you have the corned beef with the onions. See, that's how I like my onions. I don't like my onions are crunchy when I'm eating them if they're cooked onions. And we have the yellow yam right there. And we have the fried plantains. So good. I could just sit and eat these by themselves. And guys, be sure to give me a thumbs up, before we get off of this chat. But I just wanted to shout out the ladies on here who actually they have YouTube channels that you can support them. So we'll just go through, and I'll go from the most recent comments upwards. So we have Design with Emma, and she's very sweet lady. She has a very nice channel, and whatever name you see here, that's your channel name. And she does a lot of designs, around her home. And, she's really good at that. And she shows you how to do it on a budget too. So she'll do like a lot of what do you call it now? Thrift, like thrifting, and she'll do a thrift flip. I'm not saying that right. Thrift flip, where she buys it at the thrift store, like Goodwill or wherever, and then when she's finished with it, you would never know how she got it to look so good, and she shows you how she does it sometimes. I remember once you did one where you sprayed one of your cheers on your patio, and I said, man, that looks so good. I think she changed it from white to black, and it was just, everything was perfect. Really, really good. And she's almost at 1,000 subscribers. Very nice lady. And so she's almost there, and she has a giveaway coming up as well too. Mama's handprint said, please hand me that plate, not be selfish. Oh, so I must give you. Okay, so here you go. Guess what? We have some left in the pot. So it's still going to be good if I give you the whole plate. You'd be good to go. So Mama's handprint, she also has a channel. She's from Jamaica. She talks about gardening. She talks about different topics around the home and so on. Remember once she did one about the Lingdom Vitae, where you're showing me butterflies and the Lingdom Vitae. That's what got me to your channel, because I said, yep, I absolutely love that, because I used to like seeing them in the summertime in Jamaica. That's our national flower, the Lingdom Vitae. It's pretty blue, and the butterflies will just swarm over it in the summertime. Well, she says, I mix mine together. Yeah, that's like my brother. He likes his like that. So that's Johnson's home decor. She is from Guyana. One of my ride or dies. She on my lives. She's on my lives. I know that something major is going on in her life. Why is she not joining me on the live? She's always there for me. And she does a lot of beautiful decorations. You should see some of her Christmas stuff. Oh my goodness. Really, really, awesome. And then we have Pastor Juanita, but her channel is not by her name. She actually has a faith-based channel. It's called Rock of Faith Deliverance Center. And they actually are, it's a church channel. And they also have a very, very good Bible study on Wednesday nights. You can learn a lot from there. And she goes deep into it, very, very deep. Some things you hadn't thought about, she's going to bring them to the surface. Kind of like to dig and find out stuff, kind of like the way I am too. So I guess that's probably why it even rolls even better with me, because my mind kind of works that way. And if you watch my gardening videos, you'll probably figure that out about me. So I like to figure out how things work and how to make them better and how to give the information to somebody else, so it can help them. So that's Marlene's how to. I'm trying to turn my decorating ladies into some green thumbs, but it's, they're coming along. They said they're going to try, and love you guys for it. So who else? We have Miss Penny. Yes, Miss Penny's the one that started me on the collaboration. She said, come on and join. And I did one last, I think it was St. Patrick's Day last year, a tier tree, decorate the tier tree. So that's where we got started, and she does some beautiful decorations, but hers is a lifestyle channel. So she also will be doing like makeup. She'll also do like, we have a collaboration coming up on April 5th. We're going to decorate our front porch. I already have this 9 of us already, so I can't add anybody else in, but you can still join in, and we'll add you to the playlist. So that way, you'll roll through with everybody else on the playlist. So that's Miss Penny right there. And then we have Lorna. Lorna does some beautiful decorations also from Jamaica as well too. And her Christmas tree was just absolutely awesome. Love it. That's the first video I saw for you, Lorna, and I never look back. All right, so let's see who we have here again now. Mama's handprint.
Yeah.
And I didn't see my sister come up on here. She came on using one of her email addresses, but I didn't see her. But it's Andrea's Kidney Transplant Life is the name of her channel. And she dropped her first video yesterday. Well, she had her channel trailer about 2 weeks ago, and she dropped her first video about being diagnosed. So if you know anybody, it's Andrea's Kidney Transplant Life. Let me just write it in here for you. She probably had to go do something. Let me just put it on here so you can at least see what it looks like. So it's Andrea's. I think this is going to help a lot of people. Kidney transplant. Am I spelling that right? Probably not. Transplant Life. And her video yesterday was actually when she first got diagnosed, and how she was dealing with it, and it's something that she had to do. So let me see now. So she says, thank you. You're absolutely. So that's it right there. Andrea's Kidney Transplant Life. So, show her some love, guys. You can check her out when you're finished here, or whenever you have the time. It doesn't matter. You can just write the name down somewhere. You can do a screenshot on your phone if you can see what's on here right now. So you'll remember the name of it. But she's just up. I think she has like 15 subscribers right now, because her first video was, first real video was actually released yesterday evening, and we want her to get the information out so she can help others. So she's on here as too, Georgia P. So she says, thank you so much, but it's really the Andrea Kidneys Transplant Life channel that you should be looking for on there. All right, so I think my husband actually showed me some breadfruit too. He's really doing the most right now. You're gonna have these people be hungry up in here. Let me just show you before we go, just to show you what that looks like. I know y'all know Jamaican folk over here. Can you tell we're gonna be eating good tonight? It's late, but I'm so hungry because with the funeral thing today, the memorial service is kind of like it was a long day, and I didn't get to eat appropriately today. So, oops, come over here to me. Don't run away. So this is our. We have some fried breadfruit too. Lighting again. If you can see it. So these are crunchy. They could probably be cooked a little bit more, a little more crunchy, but that's the breadfruit right there. So we cooking good in here tonight for real. That's our breadfruit right there. So we cook a little bit more. So guys, if y'all want to say anything, because we're pretty much coming towards the end now, but please share this out. Anybody who you think may want to have an alternative, because I think it's an inexpensive alternative to cooking corned beef for St. Patrick's Day. It doesn't have to be St. Patrick's Day. It can be for any time of year. We have it any time. We're not fussy. We'll have it anytime. So you can share this out with someone you think it might help to come up with a recipe. Again, if you have kids doing it, I'm gonna say. If you have kids, gonna try this recipe, I'd say get the corned beef out the can for them first, and also cut the cabbage in half for them first, so that way, because sometimes it's really, because even it was a struggle for me because this is a big one that I use, so you might be fighting with the knife. So kind of like cut the cabbage in half for them, or you can shred the whole cabbage for them if you like, and then have them do it that way. So they can, just go along and see that they can do something that's easy enough for themselves. So, guys, I want to thank you so much, Mama San Princess. She threw in. Donna says, beautiful presentation, Marlene. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Absolutely. So, and again, that's my channel, guys. Like I said, when you do too many different things on your channel, it kind of like the algorithm doesn't like it. So you kind of like have to streamline a little bit. So, I would do these on a regular, but then it's going to be kind of like, okay, which way is she going? That's just how it is. So that's why I do my lives. I need watch hours. It's going to help me with watch hours too. But the main focus is to help you with different ideas, different things that help. Like the last one, if you haven't seen it yet, the last one that was about women's wellness and the 34 symptoms of perimenopause. And I apologize, by the way, because that video ended abruptly because we had lost internet service here for some reason. I don't know why. We tried our phone as a hotspot. Nothing would work. So it ended maybe at about perimenopause symptom, maybe number 31. So I missed maybe like about 3 of them. So I'm sorry about it if that happened. You said just like, what happened? Some people knew because they could still see me, but they couldn't. It was just buffering like this, but I could still see them typing, uh-oh, she's frozen or something like that. So anyway, but it is long. You can watch it or listen to it while you're washing dishes, combing your child's hair or whatever. But we had a lot of good information in there. And the one before that with my husband, that one is with Valentine's special. We talked about having healthy relationships, like how to foster them and all of that. So we had some really good, and these things are sharing. I'm cooking today, so it's more about me like talking the whole time. But, it's really for us to share and exchange ideas so that way you can help me and I can help you to be better in whatever it is that we're doing. And that's why most of us started this YouTube journey anyway, to kind of like to help somebody. So that's basically what it's about. So Lorna says, beautiful presentation, Marlene. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Designer Emma said, my husband loved corned beef. Yes, I will replay for him. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Neil says, ready to eat. Bruce Lee says, can I get some? So guys, thank you again so much. Be sure to share the video out if you can. You can always listen to it when they're driving or whatever, well, they can't watch it while they're driving, but you know what I mean. While they're doing something else, they can do that. So he said, I hope you can help me be better at gardening. Yes, and that's what I was saying earlier. I'm not sure if you're on the chat yet, but I wasn't born being a gardener. Yes, my mom was there as a role model. I did botany in college, so it helped me. But when I came to America, the plants there's some similar plants, but at the same time, we didn't have like winters and have to change out plants depending on the season. It just grew and that was it. You didn't even have to buy garden soil. I said I have to buy dirt because where we are, you have clay in the ground. If you just try to put them in the ground, they probably won't do well. You have to buy like garden soil and put them in your container if you're doing container gardening. Or if it's a case where you're putting it in ground, you have to take out some of the clay soil or whatever soil you have and mix it in with some of the garden soil, and you're good to go. And don't kill them with water, because most times that's what happens. People believe that they kill the plant. It's just overwatering. If you water them and they're wet all the time, they have to dry out a little bit. If they're wet all the time, their roots can't breathe. They're gonna rot and they're gonna die on you. Unless you got a bad batch, because that happens to everybody sometimes. Because we're taking back a piece, Lily, that they got for me for what was it? My kids got it for Valentine's Day. Was that what it is? Yeah, because it had some black spots. Like the leaves look kind of funny, kind of crumply, and then like in 2 days I saw black spots. I'm just like, oh no. So sometimes you can get a bad batch and you give up on yourself, and it's not that you did anything wrong. You just got a bad batch. It could have had a disease or something. But ladies, I encourage you to try. Just keep trying and you'll get it right. Because I had to figure it out. I did some research. I watched videos and learned. In this climate over here where I was, and I had to figure it out because I remember I put something in the ground the first time. I thought I was like in a tropical place, and they didn't last for too long. I said, oh my gosh, I need to do some research. And I did. And I said, okay, guess I'll have to buy garden soil. Wasn't used to that. And so that was it. So thank you for this amazing presentation. That may be my problem. Yes, you loving them to death. That happens sometimes, like you loving it to death. Too much water. They have to dry out a little bit first, and then you give them some more water. If they're flopping over and the soil is dry, that means that they desperately need water. But they'll still hold up a little bit if they're dry. But if you're overwatering them and they can't get any oxygen, because just think it's like kind of like you're underwater and you can't breathe. You have to come up for air every now and then. So they just flood it out all the time. There is no oxygen in there because it's waterlogged. They're going to rot and die, just like anything else in nature. So that's worth looking into. So she's laughing. It's because I said we may be killing them to death. I mean, like I said, I had to learn too. So it's a learning process, but with time and patience. And you said your husband is good at gardening too. Yeah, you'll be okay. I have faith in you. So I'm gonna say bon appetit. Hope you have something nice to drink when you're finished here. So my husband, again, you can come over and say bye-bye to them so they can see you, because this was a team effort over here. They kind of need to see your face a little bit. Okay, so there he is right there. All right. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you, God willing, in 2 weeks. We'll be looking at probably Easter, maybe a little bit more faith-based, but you already know me. You kind of have to expect that. And, I embrace it, because what would I do without my faith? And those hard days, I mean, it's for good days, but when the hard days come, to what you're going to lean on, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so take care, enjoy. Unlike Jamaican soil, everything planted grows. Yes, ma'am, that is so true. So have a good night, people. Take care until I see you on the next one. Love you lots. Bye.